Okay, y'all, so this tells us that we were talking about competitive people earlier. Lisa and I were pretty competitive. I can't remember if you or Lil were part of our membership team that we had a competition going in with NABO National to bring in 40 new members in 40 days, and we rocked it. We got it. And so I don't remember if we were the only chapter. We were the only chapter, so the state of Nevada went to conference, got all these kind of awards, and so from day one, I knew this was my kind of woman because she's competitive. We always had great times. We had great fun. Always was learning. She taught us how to do Lisa pose. So when you take pictures, we do Lisa pose. But then she introduced me to her husband. And I know for me personally, my husband is a huge, he's my rock. He's my everything. And so when you have some dynamic duos and couples that work together, grow together, and do things in business, it's just a whole nother level. And so I have from this day one loved being a part of things that they're doing. You're going to see why in just a minute, why I feel that way. The other thing I love is if you've noticed already, and I am so off script, but that's okay because those of you who know me know I just love to go off script. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I have other sons, but I have a 15-year-old daughter. And I remember a couple of years ago, we ran into them at a salad place because my daughter loves to eat healthy. And so they sit down, and I remember she was probably like 10, 11, 12, around that age. And they sat down and had, and my daughter's an old soul and a great communicator. Sometimes the youngest, they turn out like that because they have she's the only girl. She's got two big brothers. And one day she's going to take over our business. That's what she's telling us. So, but they sat down and had such an amazing in-depth conversation with her. It wasn't anything about mom. It wasn't anything about what we were doing, but they just focused in and honed in on her and gave her that moment. And I always have cherished and appreciated that. But they took the time and it was sincere. And so Jesse and Lisa, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. So with that being said, I want to quickly go through bio because I always want to respect the level they bring. So Jesse attended the University of Nevada, UNLV, on multiple academic scholarships where he earned 2 degrees in fine arts and hotel administration. He worked in the hospitality and gaming industry for 36 years. He started as a busboy and moved to the highest level of management as the executive director of casino marketing. He spent 6 years as an adjunct professor teaching senior level casino marketing classes at UNLV. Jesse has earned his coaching certification from Coach U in order to live out his purpose, invoking his best gifts and talents as a global player. He has been a catalyst for change, transforming people's lives all across the world. This was really impressive. He has logged over 126,000 hours developing his expertise in speaking, coaching, and educating others. Jesse has always had a passion for hospitality and living into the ideal of the power shared whenever you focus on how you leave others feeling. He gives credit for the writing of his first best-selling book, How You Leave Them Feeling, to his 36 years spent rising up the ranks in hospitality while practicing his love for the hospitality industry. He's got a whole bunch of extra accolades and all kinds of contacts and all these things on his website. So in your digital guide, you've got links to all of these amazing things. But with that being said, I don't want to delay any longer. Jesse, I want to welcome you to the stage or to wherever you're going to be up here, so that way people know and
Christy,
understand how we have you.
round of applause. Let's keep clapping because she's so amazing since she sits down. You're not making her uncomfortable, just do it. Keep doing it until she sits down. Is that how you show love and respect? Right? Say yes.
Yes.
Was that the how you leave the feeling concept already in place? Say yes.
Yes.
I didn't even know I was going to do that. Right? What it takes to put on a program like this, I don't care whether you have 1, 6, or 12. It's no joke. You guys get that? Do me a favor. Play with me on this. Say, Right? You guys get that? Right? That's why she said, That's why I wanted to give that to Christy and her team, because it's never ending when you put it on a program like this, all the way up until the clock starts on the day. There's always something. I don't care how smart you are, how detailed you are, there's always something. So the round of applause was for the power and the integrity and the intelligence and the desire of Christy Eccles wanting to put something together that serves all of us. She did that, did she not? Say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I always like to get permission from the audience. Do I have your permission to come a little closer? Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
Are you scared of me?
No.
Let me tell you, like my baby sister would say, I ain't scared of you. That's what Pam would say. Okay, so now I've got permission to come a little closer. Why do you think I want to come a little closer to you? Why? Raise your hand if you think you know. Where, who? Say it. Personable? Yes. What makes it more personal when I'm closer to you?
Eye contact.
Eye contact, what else? Say it.
Connection.
Connection. Yes. I'm strolling through the audience now. I got permission, didn't I? Did I not get permission? Where am I strolling to right now? I'm in the middle. Where am I strolling to now? Where am I on my way to? Say Why am I strolling? What's your first name?
Josie.
Josie. Why is the brother strolling on his way to the back?
Is it a quiet one?
They thought they were hiding from me, didn't they? Josie? I see you. See, when you're at the top of the room, you're at the front, and there's nothing wrong with being at the front of the room. By the way, Spencer tore it up at the front of the room, did he not?
Yes.
I have no request in investment of what I'm about to say about Spencer Horn. Okay? None. I do not care whether you're biblical or if you've ever heard of the Bible or not. When I give you a cue, I need an amen. You guys got me? Spencer Horn was bad to the bone. Can I get a amen? Now, you can't tell by looking at this dude, but he's somewhat athletic. So we need to take it up a level for Spencer. You ready for this? He can't hear us. We're going to do an amen, and we're going to follow by one punch. You ready for this one? It's going to be my brother. Spencer Horn tore it up today. Yes. Man, you know he's going to use that in his next speech, right? He's telling Jen, oh, baby girl, that's what now we got to do this. When you get closer to the audience, everyone knows that you see them. And when you see them, they're more likely to do what in terms of paying attention?
Sit up.
Yeah. Just in case that speaker does what? Yeah. Who am I speaking to right now?
All of us.
No, I'm not speaking to all of you. I'm speaking to 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 you. Right? We call that a you-focused perspective. And Spencer did an excellent job doing that as well. We are here because Christy asked us to share our personal and professional development opportunities for you. I love what Spencer said today too about one. Spencer only asked you to choose one, right? He stole that from me. I was going to do the same thing.
Give it to
Say it again.
you give it to give one.
Okay. On top of Spencer's one, I want one. I want you to walk away with one thing from what I had to say. Back in the day when I had the opportunity to speak to the university students as a college professor for 6 years, the first year, I couldn't wait to get in front of those kids. I was giving my very best. I'd go home, my back was hurting, I was sore, I had to sit in the tub for an hour with Epsom salts, like cups full. You know why? Why? Why do you think that was difficult for me? I give my all. What were they giving me? I wanted to get 100% of them. I wanted to get 100% of them in the room, in that classroom. You think I got 100% of them with this attitude? No. Write it down. It's called the Rule of 51. The Rule of 51. I love you in this room. I love you. But I'm only going for 51%. If I get 51% of you, I've scored. Say yes.
Yes.
Because everyone that took that class wasn't there to learn what I was there to teach. Sometimes it was an easy A, sometimes it was an elective that they heard that thought that it was going to be not hard on them. I would ask them, how many of you would like an A in the class? And I said, if you're here just to get the A in the class, come to the front of the podium, I'll give you the A, and I want you to walk out that door and never come back to this classroom again. I never want to see you again. Do you guys believe me that I did that?
Yes.
Do you think I have permission by my dean to say that kind of stuff?
No.
No. You think I care?
No.
No. Why didn't I care? And I knew it would make a difference. I said, when you're in this classroom, I want you to get the lesson. If you get an A as a result of getting the lesson, all good. But I want you to get the lesson. Because when you go out into the world and you go into the jobs, nobody cares how smart you are. And I can compete against every one of you with college A's. I had to, because I had to have an A average to keep my scholarships, right? But how many times since I've been in the world, even back then, how many times do you think I've been asked, how many college A's did I get? Zero? Well, if I've never been asked zero, why would there be so much pressure to get college A's? Right? Don't we do that? So I told them, don't just get the A, because when you get into the job, if all you are focused on is getting the A, you're going to be hard to hang around with. Build relationships. Always better to be related than simply college educated. Always better to be related than simply college educated. There's nothing wrong with an education. There's nothing wrong with getting an education, but that's not the only place where it stands. You guys get that? So now I want to get a little historical on you. I want to learn a little bit about you. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
South Park, North Dakota.
North Dakota. South Park, North Dakota?
South Park.
South Park, North Dakota. Never heard of that one. Where did you grow up, man?
West Bend, Iowa.
West Bend, Iowa.
Population 900.
Population 900? You had 7 people in your graduating class.
I had 7 brothers and sisters.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Where did you grow up at?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Man, where'd you grow up at?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh boy, 2 Las Vegas, Nevada. Where'd you grow up at, sir?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Jesus. 3 in a row. Where did you grow up in, man?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Okay. Where did you grow up at? Oh, 4 Vegas. Where did you grow up? Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. If you grew up from Vegas, raise your hand. Oh my goodness. Did you know that? Look, raise them high. Raise them high. Look at this room. Okay, hands down. Is that serious? Where you grew up has a lot to do with who you become. Am I right? Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And just because you grew up in a particular area doesn't mean that that's all there is to your life. You guys agree? Say yes.
Yes.
Oftentimes we put a lot. Find us. What I hear back here? Pride. Yes. What if you come from a podunk town of nowhere? Who said that? So what podunk town did you come from?
No, I'm just saying Iowa.
Oh my goodness. I wouldn't have gone if I knew he was going to roll somebody else under the bus. I was getting himself under the bus. He got me with that one. Spencer, mark this down in your playbook. Never go to the man that's tall, good looking. because he's gonna roll somebody else under the bus, not himself. I say that because it's important to embrace where we came from. But realize, for some of us, where you come from can be really clearly seen as a point of reference, not a residence. I see where I came from as a point of reference, not a residence. Oftentimes in the early years, there are challenges. We have challenges in those periods, right? Growing up, say yes?
Yes.
Give me a round of applause if you had challenges, if you saw or endured some challenges growing up. Give me a round of applause if you had no challenges growing up. Not a single person. Right? If you're willing to share, if not, just say, if you don't want to share. If you're willing to share, what kind of a challenge did you have growing up? Okay. What type of challenge are you willing to share? What kind of challenge did you have growing up?
My parents divorcing.
Early, what age?
Well, my mom and dad were split at 1 year old.
Oh my goodness, parents divorcing at 1 year old. Did you say mom or dad or both?
Both.
Does that mean, that's nice, you got both parents, but that didn't make it any easier. Was that tough for this little one here? Yeah, that was tough. Willing to share?
Yeah. Lack of attention.
Lack of attention from whom? Parents or whom?
Yeah, there's a lot of us. Yeah, from parents.
Okay, lack of attention. Can that be problematic, team? Yes, because it makes you feel what? Yeah, and not worthy, right? Do you have any problems growing up?
I grew up in Brooklyn, it was easy.
What's your first name?
Kareem.
Kareem. Did you hear Kareem say that with attitude? Everybody, here's Kareem's mic drop. That was a mic drop right there. He grew up in Brooklyn, it was easy because?
Yeah, the person who can't do it.
Absolutely. You don't get a second chance at a first impression in Brooklyn, do you? No. Okay, so he's probably the only one in the room that had it easy. But that was more because of how he took it on, right? Kareem had an early adjustment thing happen where he knew that was the way to endeavor to be in a decent place, right? You guys agree? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, can you share a challenge?
I grew up in Philadelphia.
Okay, it's like Brooklyn?
No, when I was 10, I was bused to integrated schools.
She was bused to integrated school in Philadelphia. Do you think that was easy? Ooh, do you think you had a challenge or two? You can pretty much imagine what those challenges might be, could you not? Okay? Not that we're making assumptions that can be different than we know, right? But that was even hard for you to get on that bus.
Correct.
Like, was it ever a time when you got, okay, well, did you do it for 4 years or how many years?
It was elementary school, and then, so it was 2 years.
But was that difficult every time you got on that bus?
No,
Oh, you got good at it.
I got good at it.
Hey, can we get some sprinkles for her? How'd you get good at it?
I adapted to it.
She adapted to it. She's stealing my stuff. I'm gonna get to adapting later. I'm gonna get to, that's good though. We're writing down anyway. That's good. Did you have any challenges growing up?
Moved across town.
Just moving across town was brutal
I mean, as a kid, yeah.
because you went from what you knew to the unknown. And did they welcome you right away when you moved?
Kind of, took time.
Boy, you hanging out there with Kareem? Right. Challenges growing up?
Lack of expectations.
Lack of expectations on you or on others on you? You had lack of expectations.
Well, others had, I'm sorry, so maybe you just respect what you said. Others had lack of expectations on you, the neighborhood I grew up in.
The neighborhood he grew up, they had a lack of expectations on him. What was the neighborhood?
East LA and Los Angeles.
East LA.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Who else is from East LA? Oh, good, there's only one more. I thought the whole house was gonna come down. The other side of Vegas. Okay, how did you navigate that? It's Victor, right? You started a family.
A strong family.
Oh, so the family helped you.
Right. I had a
You're right, your family had some challenges, but they were also very supportive. Okay, what's one thing they gave you that helped you support that lack of expectations on you?
Like, you know what, instead of feeling sorry for yourself and doing all this stuff, you know what, life's gonna be hard, keep going, stop crying.
In other words, stop,
Yeah.
get over yourself.
Yeah, stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah, right. So that's helped you drive forward.
That helps, yeah, that definitely did. Yeah, the Marine Corps.
And how- right, right. Well, that was just a semantic. Yeah. And he joined the gang too, right?
I used to be a cop for
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna be on this side of the room since he's with the LAPD, right? But do we not all have challenges to overcome? Say yes?
Yes.
Do we not all have problems to solve? Say yes?
Yes.
Is it easy to do this? Right? Does it ever end?
No.
No. The better you get at solving problems, the better life you have. You guys agree with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got a problem.
Oh, now wait a minute, our cameraman. Look, if we're trying to do a program and the cameraman say, hey, what about me? I got some stuff I want to share. What was your biggest challenge?
Getting shot in the face.
Oh my gosh. And this is a good looking dude. You got shot in the face here in Vegas?
Yeah.
Did you earn it? What?
Fun. I'm a product of the 80s and 90s. So, well, a baby of the 80s and 90s. So my mom had to go through the crack epidemic and all that. So I
Wow.
was born with crack and alcohol in my system. So
Crack, alcohol in the system, born in the 80s? Got shot in the
I was born in
face.
2001.
Okay.
thankfully, But I was a product of all of that. So like everything that came, like I say, my generation, we came after all of that. But they told me that I would never be able to walk straight. So it's
Told
kinda-
me you would never be able to walk straight. Shot in the face. Can we get a round? Say your name again. It's a hard name to say. Say it.
Sean Jerry.
Sean Jerry, and let's give him a round of applause. I wasn't trying to inspire our cameraman. But once I saw him tuning in, I wanted some of that. Is that amazing? That is a wow, isn't it? They say you should be kind to everybody that you meet because everybody is battling something. Be kind to everybody that you meet because everybody is battling something. And you don't always know what that something is. Sean Jerry just gave us an amazing testimonial, really quick like that, very powerful, right? We all have things to navigate. You have to realize it's not just you. I was actually born and lived in a gated community my very first home in Reno, Nevada. I was fortunate. Give me a round of applause if you've ever lived in a gated community. Round of applause if you've never lived in a gated community. Okay, about 60-40. Okay. I felt challenged and appreciative to have had the opportunity to be raised in a gated community. Of all the things in Reno, Nevada, growing up in that gated community, what do you think the biggest challenge I might have incurred in Reno, Nevada in 1960?
Race.
Oh, really? Great. Who said race first? Okay.
Right here.
Okay, I'm gonna give two. What's your name?
Yes.
Jess? Yeah, go figure. Jess. Yeah, of course her name is Jess. $2 bill. Okay, round of applause for Jess. What's your name? Dina, $2 bill. I mean, I've heard it a few times, but let's say these two came in first. They said race was a challenge in Reno, Nevada in 1960. What else do you think was a challenge? For me. Say that? Adaption, you think? Living in a predominantly white environment with this chocolate skin? You think? What else?
Maintaining your identity.
Figuring out my identity. Yes. What else? Say it. Discrimination. You think in Reno, Nevada in 1960? And Hawthorne, Nevada as well, even smaller town, right? I'm here, yeah, right. Round of applause because I survived Hawthorne, Nevada. Hawthorne, Nevada is 310 miles from Vegas to Hawthorne, 130 miles from Hawthorne to Reno, just so you give you some point of reference, if you're not from that area.
I grew up in Minot, so.
Oh my God. Mine is like 30 miles from Hawthorne, so the kids in Minot had a grade school, but they came to Hawthorne for high school. Am I right? What's your first name?
Sam.
Let's give an amen for Sam. Amen. Right? Growing up in Minot, just a little issues growing up there too, right? Say it.
There's nothing to do. Tiny little town.
That's not true. There's two things to do in towns like that. Athletics or drugs. Done with that. You either chose athletics or drugs, right? So, identity, I heard. There were a few names that I was called that were not my birth names. So you had to know what those names were. Just say yes if you know.
Yes.
Yes. Did one start with an N? Yeah. What about the C word? There's two of them. But which C word do you think I was called growing up? Say it.
Color.
Who said color? That girl didn't call me out. What's your first name?
Ann.
Are you saying he called me color? Should I have a conversation with her out to the side? Do you think she's right? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Who said no? Yes, she's spot on. Let me tell you how I say your name one more time. Ann. Ann is so spot on. Quick question. Do you know your nationality on your birth certificate? Yeah, on the birth certificate. Okay, white. Nationality on your birth certificate? What? Nationality on your birth certificate? African American? Nationality on your birth certificate?
Just says black.
Black. In the red, nationality on your birth certificate? White. Horn. Nationality on your birth certificate? Caucasian. Nationality? Caucasian. Nationality? Black. I heard Caucasian, I heard black. Any Hispanic in the room? Yeah.
Right here.
Nationality?
I'm only half though, so it gets hard. I'm half Vietnamese, half Mexican. I never know what to choose.
Es más difícil de lo que usted se piensa.
See,
Right, so what's the birth certificate?
I forgot what they put.
That's-
When I put something, I just, however I feel that day, there's Hispanic race.
Fair enough, you choose, and you get to choose.
I choose.
Okay, well, do you think I got to choose? I brought this for you. Would you like to see? Would you like to hear what they put on my birth certificate?
Yes.
Jesse C. Farrell, Jr. It doesn't even say nationality. It says color or race. And my color or race is indicated colored on my birth certificate. Oxford, Mississippi. I have 7 brothers and sisters born in Reno, Nevada, St. Mary's Hospital. All their birth certificates say African American or black. Mine says colored. How do you think that leaves me feeling? Say it.
Isolated.
How about empowered? That leaves me feeling empowered. Do you know why?
Why?
I don't allow you to identify me. I chose early on, I choose my identification, not you. And I don't care who you are. I chose to find a way to go outside of that situation, go beyond that. I chose to use that as an opportunity for growth. I say whenever you lose in life, don't lose the lesson. My lesson was I get to identify myself. I'm not being identified by you. So when I get called into the principal's office, when you call into the principal's office in school, in a predominantly white school, you're typically in what? Trouble. I wasn't in trouble because I didn't do anything. You know what my principal called me in the office for? Son, I want you to know you're the smartest black kid we have in this school.
I'll be the only one.
Not the only one, we had 12. There was more than 12, but it was definitely the minority. What am I supposed to say to Mr. Cornell? Say it again?
Thanks, I guess.
Yes, I didn't put the guest part in, but I did say thank you. Because he was attempting to do what? Compliment me. I knew that. By the way, he was a known redneck. That's what they call him. I didn't make that name up. Okay. You know what I said to Mr. Cornell? Thank you, sir. I'll be graduated from your class, your school, my class, in 2 years. I'll be going out into the world. I don't compete against black kids. I'm more proud about being number 10 in my graduating class than number 1 of all black people in my school. Was that a fair response?
Yes.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Can I get a Can I get an amen, my brother?
Amen.
Right? You know he did something to me after I did that, right? What do you think Delbert Cornello did to me after I spoke to him that way? I wasn't mean, I wasn't rude, I wasn't as he's the principal. What do you think he did to me after I spoke to him that way?
Suspended you.
Suspended me? Who said that?
I did.
Oh, suspended me, okay. My cameraman did do it. Yeah. What'd you say, Morris? Respect. Okay, this Mr. Speaker stuff is going too far. Spencer Horn said he respected me. Spencer, tell the audience, there's your $2 bill, sir.
Yes, sir.
Spencer Horn, tell the audience why he respected me, even though I'm speaking, a little black kid, 16 years old, speaking to the principal of Hawthorne, Nevada, Mineral County High School.
Because you were articulate, you were confident, you were respectful.
Can somebody, wait, who's willing to hug me right now? Anyway. No, can somebody, bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me. You know why I needed that hug from Spencer Horn? He gave me the goosebumps, like all down my backside. Right? It was R-E-S-B-E-C-T. Well, no, Aretha Franklin. But it was respect, right? So he decided whenever we had teachers that were substitute teachers, and it was a small town, so we didn't have that many. Whenever we ran out of substitute teachers and teachers were not available, he would call all of my teachers, excuse me from class, and place me in as a substitute teacher.
Wow.
At age 16, I got 17, 18-year-olds that I'm in as a substitute teacher for. That's because I wasn't going to allow anybody else to define me. Okay? You don't let anybody define you. You define you. You determine who you are and what you are. You determine what's available for you. Right? Does that make sense? I know our society can bring challenges, but everybody has challenges. I don't have the moniker of carrying difficult and challenging things happen just because my skin is dark. Everybody is too something for someone. Did you know that? Did you guys know that? So you could be too smart. You could be too dumb. You could be too tall. You could be too thick. You could be too thin, too little. Did you know you could be too beautiful? Did you guys know you could be too beautiful in our society? My wife, Lisa Farrell, was too beautiful when she worked in the television agency. When that industry, she was too beautiful. Guys wanted to make close connections with her when she didn't want those kind of connections. And girls were ticked off that guys wanted to connect with her. She's too cute, right? Everybody's too something for someone. So the point is, what do you do about it? Life is not about what happens to you. Life is about what do you do about it. Does that make sense? We're all in this getting ready stage. You guys believe that? The concept is called grasp. Getting ready. Attitude, signature, and past. Now play with me on this getting ready thing. I want you to play with me. And know this. We're all taught this for the most part. I want you to answer. Well, we'll say middle school, we'll say primary school, because they sometimes call different things. We'll call it primary school, we'll call it junior high school, which is sometimes called middle. Junior high school, we'll call it high school. So think about this. When you are in primary school, they're getting you ready for junior high. Let's try it again. In primary school, they're getting you ready for? Junior high. Yes. Junior high, they're getting you ready for? Yes. Didn't we all go through that for the most part? Okay. Now let's go really quickly on this one, okay? Because I know you know the answers. For those who are answer loud. You guys willing to play with me on this? Say yes? Yes. Okay, here we go. In primary school, you're getting ready for? In junior high, you're getting ready for? And even if you don't go, they typically help you get ready for? Yes. And when you're in school, they tell you, go to school and get good? Great. Yes. Right? So you can get out of school and get a good job. Hello? I'm not telling you guys this. That's the grasp concept, right? Final time. Let's go really fast. Primary school, get ready for? Junior high school, get ready for? High school. High school, get ready for? College. Yes, so you can get out and get a good job. Work 20, 30, 40 years on that job, then you can retire. And after retire? Oh! What's your name? Terry? Excuse me, Terry. Excuse me, hold that thought. Christy? Terry. She got that whole table to get ready for bed. She got the whole table.
Terry.
And she was proud. I said, what's your name? She said, Terry. Is Terry right or wrong? Girlfriend is so wrong. She's so, yeah, she is so wrong that she is right on. She's right on. That's what they teach us, Timmy. In the getting ready process. Say yes? Yes. Yes. If you didn't do it, you heard it, did you not? Yes. Do you know how long people live if they retire and do nothing? 5 or 6 years and they die. So then why are we taught that? But nobody knows, right? We need to change it to the new form of getting ready, the new grasp. There's a new grasp. Still GRASP, but it's revived. And then the middle part of that is the A for attitude. Spencer Horn talked about it earlier a number of times. He talked about gratitude as well. And the attitude, the attitude we need to refresh. We need to refresh our attitude about life matters. You guys agree?
Yes.
It's oftentimes our attitude that can be the thing that drives it down to the ground. You guys agree? Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. When you have a pissy attitude about something, and you're angry with someone, and you come at them, what do they usually bring you when you're bringing them all that? The same. Hello, we're like for like creatures. So when someone's giving you a bunch of guff and a bunch of attitude, what's a better way rather than giving it back to them?
Give them love.
Give them love. Kill them with kindness, right? They cannot keep delivering that to you. Now wait a minute. There's a thing called biology. If there's some biology things going on, that's a whole different game. This is not the course of that. If there's some biology, it's something very, very that you got to get very creative on your feet. You guys get that? If it's not a biology issue, you will actually shut that down because there's a thing called resonance, human resonance. We resonate, we have energy. There's energy in the room right now. We're resonating off of one another right now. It's happening, even though we don't talk about it. So your attitude is the thing. Then the S is the signature. S stands for your signature. Each and every one of you. Hold your thumb up if you will, please. Your right thumb. Everyone hold up your right thumb. Look at the person next to you. Show them that thumb. Show your thumb. Okay. Show that thumb. Do they look the same? No. Are there any two thumbs that are exactly the same? No. Your signature is your signature. And it's out there even if you don't know it. You want to be mindful of what is your signature. What is your personal brand? What do people come to know you for? When you come into a room and you leave the room, what's left behind in that room? You guys get that? What fragrance is left behind when you leave a room? Your signature is huge because your signature can help define and set opportunity for growth. The better your signature, the better life you have. No matter what your expertise is. I mean, there are so many people in this room that deal with challenges, like take the Kelly. Industry you're in, say it, Kelly? Construction. You got this cutie pie blonde in the construction industry, right? You think when she shows up on a job that they go, all right, Kelly's here, right?
Like, yes, they do.
Right. What's your name?
Holly.
Holly said, yes, they do, because Kelly's a badass. But I didn't know that, so I was using her. And now I'm going back away from Kelly since she's I was born black, not stupid. Yeah, so thank you for that ass right there. The signature is important, and then passion. Passion. I don't care what your level is. Develop a passion for what you do and how you do it. When you develop a passion for what you do and how you do it, it's infectious. People know that. If with any fortune, it can even be your purpose or calling. Not everyone has to go down the purpose or calling road. If you do, that passion is even stronger. You guys understand that? A lot of people don't realize that because there's a big challenge in seeking to flip all that on the old grasp on its heel and adopt a new grasp. That can be difficult for a lot of people. Do you know why? Change. Exactly. Change. Change is change typically easy or is it difficult? Yes. What else is it difficult for most people to do when it comes to seeking to improve when they know they need to or have heard they need to or have some inkling that they need to? Why is it difficult for people? What is it? Say it. Habits, yes. Habits? Pride. Ooh, that's a good one. Habits and pride. What else? Personality, yes. What else? Fear, comfort. Did you say comfort? Yes. Oh, we're terrible with comfort. In fact, Spencer talked about comfort, right? We actually call it, what Spencer talked about, we call it relationship comfort. We write about that in that yellow book. Relationship comfort is, and Spencer said it, when you get so comfortable in the relationship with a brother, a mother, a father, a sister, a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, a boss, you get so comfortable that we do things to them that we wouldn't do to anybody else. You guys get that? Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And you don't do things for them that you'll do for almost anybody else. You guys get that? Say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
She said she's on the way.
Now, relationship comfort is not terrible. Do you know why? Is it good to be comfortable in relationships? Yes. Why?
It's comfortable.
Yes, there's less stress, right? So that's the good side. The other side of relationship comfort is neglect. Is rudeness, of shortness, of forgetfulness. Relationship comfort has two sides. You have to look at both sides. So if you're practicing relationship comfort with someone on the negative side, what needs to happen?
Change.
Yes, you need to change. But most people don't want to change. Why not?
Fear.
It's fear, and they're afraid to tell what?
Truth.
The truth. Can you give her an amen?
Amen.
Amen, my sister.
Amen, my sister.
What's the best line in the movie, A Few Good Men? Son, you can't.
Handle the truth.
What? Son, you can't.
Handle the truth.
You guys all know that. You can't handle the truth. Some live in a world with walls. Those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's going to do it? You, Lieutenant Winesburg? I got a greater responsibility you could possibly fathom. You weak for Santiago. You cursing race. You have that luxury. You have that luxury not knowing what I know. That Santiago's death while traveling probably saved lives. And deep down inside, you don't talk about it, parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. You words like code, honor, loyalty. We use those words as a backbone of a life. Defend yourself. You use them as a punchline. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a man who rises and sleeps at the very blank of the freedom that I provide and then questions the manner in which I provide it. I'd rather you just say thank you and be on your way. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to. You think the brother watched that movie like one too many times?
Maybe.
But the truth is, what's the best part of that scene in that movie about truth? He tells the truth,
He tells
he tells his truth, but most people can't what? Handle the truth. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Don't make me do the scene again. Because the brother likes the movie. I can do it again. Right? We have got to be willing to tell the truth. We have got to be willing to tell the truth. And this getting ready attitude, signature, passion is asking yourself this. What are you getting ready for? The truth is, what are you getting ready for? I'm going to use a bell system. This is a bell system. I'm going to ask you to pick a partner at the table and have a quick 2-minute conversation, 1 minute each. The person with the shortest hair goes first. You guys choose. And the person with the longest hair is the timer. Okay? 2 minutes, I'm going to be timing it. I want you to share with that person and then to you, what are you getting ready for? You guys got it? Say yes. Everybody understand? Pick a partner, 1 and 2, short hair goes first. And then when you hear this, shut it down. All right, go.
I'm getting ready for my daughter deciding to go to
What did you learn about your partner you spoke to? What are they getting ready for? Getting ready for all the challenges for future success. When I say and one, I want you guys to all clap on the same time. And one. Ooh, that's good. And one. Very good. What did you learn from the other partner?
We didn't switch, we only did one.
Oh, what did you learn?
She's getting ready for the weekend.
And why didn't you switch? Fair enough, my mistake. I'm sorry about that. What did you learn back here? Always getting ready for something. Okay, what did you learn? Less on your plate is better. I like that. That's good. What did you learn? Who's getting ready for retirement? Okay, fair enough. Good comeback. Now, that's actually good too. Okay, what did you learn?
I learned that he's getting ready to explode.
Oh, I love that one. Give him an and three. What did you learn?
I learned that she's getting ready to grow her business and expand into new markets.
Oh, nice. Your name is Elizabeth?
I'm Elizabeth.
Okay, do me a favor for Elizabeth. I want you to do this again back here for the N3. N3? Elizabeth. One more time, N3. Elizabeth. N3. Girlfriend's stubborn. I was trying to help her out because when I said that to her the first time, she wasn't ready. She had to drop a pin and she was trying to, but she didn't want to be off beat, so she just went. Yeah. Yeah. That was good. What did you learn?
She's getting ready to retire, but also start a new business.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. That's good.
I don't want to die.
Right. She said she don't want to die. She's trying to make me pay. That's another $2 bill for calling her out. I deserve that one. Thank you. Okay. So, a lot of things that people are challenged with is a thing called doubt. Okay. You guys agree? Say yes.
Yes.
When doubt sneaks in, it can be challenging. You guys agree?
Yes.
I heard the story once, and the story was about this man that wanted to learn what it took to go to hell. So he made an arrangement with the devil to learn. He popped out, the devil took him to one of the rooms, and there was some crime scene that I'm not even going to talk about. And the guy said, that's enough. I can go back up. I've seen enough. I know. He said, no. You got to follow me. You got to come to the next room. So I went to the next room, and in the second room, it was even worse. It was. There were knives. There was some gun action. There was an explosion. It was not good. He said, I've seen enough. That's it. I gotta go. He said, no, you gotta come to the final room. So he comes to the final room. The final room was a room this size. In the middle, it was a 3-foot tall table, and it had a glass cover on it, and it was a wedge like this. The wedge was sitting there, and the man said to the devil, that wedge gets people to want to come to hell? That's how they get to hell? He goes, no, you don't understand. That wedge, what I do is when I see people on earth that have that doubt, that's the wedge of self-doubt. I'll take that wedge, and I know it's already there, so I just firm it up on their skull. And that makes people feel like they're in hell right there on earth by being in the wedge of self-doubt. We gotta remove that doubt. You guys get that? Say yes.
Yes.
When you have doubt, we have to remove that doubt. You know why we have to remove that doubt? Because it'll make you feel
Empowered.
yes. And life is very short. We don't have that much time. That's why we wrote the book, How You Leave and Feeling. There's several books. There's actually 3 books out there. And you see 2 of them here in this room. And that book was written for a president that we were in a coaching session with. And he was doing some damaging things to his vice president, and they weren't working for anybody. And I said to this president, I said, listen, I think you are, and every time I tried to speak, he would shut me down. And when he tried to shut me down, I thought, I don't know what I can do for this guy, but I think the best thing for him to do is to just take a pause. So I paused. You know how long I paused? 41 minutes. And he talked. And then he said, well, what do you think? I said, I think if you want to create an incentive to get someone to do what you want and need to do, it's about how you leave them feeling. That's how you do it. I hung up from the coaching session. I said, I've got to find this book for my client. I searched for 3 hours with a neck pain in the internet looking for this book. I thought, well, okay, the book's not out there. So I thought, well, then who can I get that I know that can write this book? I go through a list of 17 people. I get to the bottom of the list after the 7th one. Holy smokes, I'm supposed to write that book. So I decided to let the download come, the How You Leave and Feeling concept, which is to leave situations and people better than you find them. That's one of the critical things in that. Leave situations and people better than you find them. And you know the best time to use the How You Live and Feeling concept? You know when? Well, now for sure, but is there another time you think would be the best time? Anytime is true, but there's an ideal time. Well, I can't argue that. This is the first time I can argue that, is when things are going bad, when things are not going well, when things are turning ugly. Think about that How You Live and Feeling concept. If you just think about how your behaviors and actions are, it's going to leave that situation with people feeling you'll behave differently. You guys get that? Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. So who do you think about the first book?
Your mom.
That president. He bought 2,500 copies of the first book. And he never even knew he was the catalyst. To this day, I still never told him. Oh. So the point is the how you do the feeling concept is really a very simple concept. And even if you never read the book, if you just focus on that, it's going to help you. Because this thing called life, it goes so fast. In the early days, it was much shorter. Like when you were 13 and 14, you would look to get some magical age. What was it? Yes. So you could do what?
Right.
Yes. And then the next magical age, not the same for everybody, is typically 18, because you're now up. Yeah. And then the next magical age?
21.
So then now you can, how about this time legally? It took forever to get to those years, did it not? It didn't like from 18 to 21, didn't I feel like 9 years? Then you get to 25, what happens at 25?
Better insurance.
At half. Insurance drops in half. Then 30? How about 40?
You want to go backwards?
No, not yet. But go, I do, yeah. But when you got from 30 to 40, that was more like that was fast. From 40 to 50, it was blank. It feels a lot shorter. When I got to 60, I'm like, okay, when did that happen? I didn't even get to blink. This thing called life is very, very short. We need you to go out there and follow a lot of the concepts that Spencer Cohen talked about earlier, of putting self at the top of the list. Look at your priorities. Whatever the top priorities are that you have in life, make sure you're in the top priorities. Okay, and you need to do something about that because life is short. Life feels like it's just a minute, doesn't it? Life is just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon you, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it. It's up to you to use it. You will suffer if you lose it. Give an account if you lose it. Just a tiny little minute, yet eternity is in it. We need you to do it now. You have been an amazing audience. Thank you. Amen.
I think the older that you get, you recognize some of those things, that life is really short, and how you leave people feeling is critical. And a lot of times we think that may only apply in your home or your family, but one of the things that I have recognized over the years, how much that it's also so valuable and impactful in your business and your employees and your everyday life. Because I tell you what, there's nothing worse than going to a place that's miserable, that you're unhappy, you're not fulfilled. And so sometimes you can change situations around you. Sometimes maybe you have a little bit less of control in changing the situation, but you can change how you identify yourself and how you're going to react and how you're going to do that. So I want to encourage you today, think about those. Get the book. There's books for sale out there. Also, occasionally at the Resource Center, when we have an event, we give away a few books. And so we have some stashed there. So maybe just drop by the Resource Center and we'll have some there for you as well. But again, thank you so much, Jesse and Lisa, for being here. And there's so much more. We're taking these big things and trying to put them in little bite-sized pieces. And that's one of the things too we were sharing with someone we were talking with a while back, and just in business, that a lot of times if you give them just enough, and they're going to want to come back for a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, because you've left something there that made an impression. So again, how you leave them feeling is so, so important. So with that, I told you guys we're speed dating, speed learning, speed everything today. But we want to give you as much value. So with that, get your notebooks and your pens out. I think we have found one of the best panelists, business development. We're going to shift to go over to business development. So I'm going to ask our panelists to go ahead and come, and Rebecca, you guys go ahead and come. Is everybody good? Everybody knows you can have drinks. Help yourself if you need to get up and grab you a fresh cup of coffee. Make an Arnold Palmer if you need to use the restroom. You're not going to distract us, but I want those of you, and this is for business owners. It doesn't matter what you're doing, because I know the nuggets that they're going to share with you today, you're gonna be able to apply it in every part, whether you're the owner, whether maybe business development is your day-to-day thing. But with that, I'm actually gonna sit down for just a little bit, and I'm gonna let my dear friend Rebecca Keenan, most of you probably know her, she is the membership director of the Nevada Contractors Association. They are our learn partner for this particular conference. I shared that just a little bit earlier. We do a lot together to make sure that we're pouring into our small, diverse contractors. Rebecca is also the staff liaison for our Diverse Contractors Council that we have at the Nevada Contractors Association. We have a lot. There's a lot of stuff. But I know she and I, we do take it to heart to make sure that everything that we, whether it was a training, and we have actually Taisha back here in the back, she's our current chair for our DCC. And one of the things over those years was always to make sure that we were providing value. I mean, we always know that we're gonna have contractors that just getting started, and we have some in here that years of business that have always been, super successful, but then you got to figure out what is that balance of providing them the information. So we've always tried to navigate that a little bit. So today we wanted to bring something just a little outside the box. These folks are not in heavy highway construction or transportation. They all are in construction though. And so I know they're going to share some amazing nuggets with you for that. But with that, Rebecca, I know that you do all the introductions and all the things and take it from here. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, Chrissy. We appreciate that so much. Well, so Jesse, you kind of stole what I was going to do, and I was going to thank Christy and her team for putting this on. So I'm going to thank you, Jesse. Thank you. Also, I think you all should give yourselves a little bit of kudos and a round of applause because you are taking the time to not only invest in yourself, but you are investing in your business. And so kudos to you. Give yourselves a round of applause. I am super excited for this panel. Many of them are members of the Nevada Contractors Association and have been regular participants at all of our meetings, as have many of you. But they really are the best of the best, and they are here to help each of you learn how to secure new business, as well as retain your current clientele by giving you their best practices for business development and marketing. So with that, I'm going to jump in. I do want to read bios. Christy always laughs at me because I hate reading bios, but I think she invited me because I'm from Chicago and I read really fast. But they really have such great experience, and I do want you to hear about their background. So I'm going to start off with Elena. Elena is a client relations and business development professional with 20 years of experience in the industry. She understands the importance of building and maintaining client relations, teamwork, and brings notable communication and marketing abilities to help coordinate overall efforts. She assists her team in defining a strategy to develop and execute initiatives designed to grow markets and expand their local client base, including client sourcing, new market penetration, and strategic market planning. She develops and maintains business relationships with her clients, industry professionals, and internal departments to facilitate overall business development efforts. So let's give it up for Elena. And next up, we have Wendy Schweigert. I said that correctly, right? Okay. And she is actually the founder of Project Maryland and the director of marketing at her family's construction company, NDL Group. And she is also a lifelong Las Vegas resident. Wendy founded Project Maryland in April of 2019 after reading an article about period poverty in a magazine. Project Maryland is named after her mother, who passed from cancer in 2011. Wendy joined NDL Group as the director of marketing in 2017, and she brings with her 20 plus years in the commercial real estate field. She also serves as on the board of CREW, the commercial real estate women group here locally, as well as their president-elect for 2024 to 2025, and she's also the co-chairwoman for 3 Squares Agency Partner Council. You do quite a bit. Let's give it up for Wendy. All right, next up we have the fabulous Sabrina. Sabrina has over 19 plus years of industry expertise, and she's a key figure in Nevada construction, known for her diverse project portfolio. She is the Vice President of Business Development at Martin Harris's, handles their business development efforts regionally, and serves in their executive board of directors. Sabrina's innovative approach has forged lasting partnerships for all of Martin Harris's business units, ranging from tenant improvements to major projects, contributing significantly to the company's revenue growth. Beyond her role, she's active in the community, in community outreach, participates in multiple national NAIOP committees, including ICON, Industrial West, and East Coast, CRE Converge, and sits on the Real Estate Development Trends National Forum. Additionally, Sabrina created and co-hosts the annual STEM for STEM fundraising event, benefiting the American Cancer Society's Research Hers campaign. So thank you so much, Sabrina, for being with us. And last but certainly not least, the gentleman on the panel, Mr. Vincent Tatum, who's also what I have heard a newly certified DBE. So congratulations on that. Vincent Tatum is currently serving as president with Grand Canyon Development Partners. He previously held the title of executive vice president of the organization for 9 years before his elevation to presidency in 2023. He is an experienced professional in the development industry with nearly 20 years of successful management in commercial construction, project management, construction sourcing and procurement, capital investment management, financial costs and controls, risk management, and logistics. And he also currently serves on the board of directors for the American Institute of Constructors, the State of Nevada Commission on Construction Education, and the Nevada Contractors Association Permits and Inspections Committee, previous chair for 9 years. How long were you chair for P&M?
I think 4.
4 years, 5 years. So we
I'm
think
not the chair anymore.
you're not. I know you're not the chair anymore, but we thank you for participating on that. All right. So let's give it up. Let's give it up for Vincent. All right. So let's jump right in. So first question will be for each of you, and we will start with Vincent. So what I'd like is for each of you, tell us what your company does and what markets you focus on.
Yeah, so Grand Canyon Development Partners, we are what's called owners representatives. I like to brand ourselves as development managers, where effectively we act as consultants for our clients to manage all the people that it takes to build some of these large scale projects. So that could be the architects, the engineers, the contractors, legal resources, financial resources. It's a whole gamut of people that have to come together to build some of these amazing things that we've been so fortunate to be a part of. So our firm, we sit right in the middle between the clients and everyone else to just basically get the most and effective outcomes from everybody that's involved. In terms of markets and sectors, I'll start with that. We're involved in hospitality, resort, commercial, multifamily, entertainment, food and beverage, retail. We're involved in quite a bit of different market sectors. And geographic wise, we are currently operating here in Nevada, but also in Utah, Hawaii, Arizona, and Florida.
All right, Sabrina.
Hello, is this on? Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us. So Martin Harris Construction is a true builder. They're a general contractor that was established in 1978 by our founder, Frank Martin. So we've been in town quite some time. He set forth his retirement plan back in 2014, and we were acquired by a capital firm based out of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And in that inherited a sister company, Big D Construction, who is based in Salt Lake. They have several subsidiaries under them, and Martin Harris is currently working on expanding their market vertical. We just opened up an office in Northern Nevada, Reno, just right outside of the airport, so in the Reno city lines. But for both of our offices, we focus on everything except for single-family residential. So we run the gamut. There's not a project too small or too large, we say. The more complex, the better. We like the one-offs. Most people or companies would probably run, and we're like, no, give it to us because we prefer those. And so in-house, we do self-performing of concrete. We have an estimating team that has about 14 people. We have a pre-construction group that focuses on the due diligence, doing some of the service offerings that Vincent's group does. So getting in front of the client and their expectations from the land entitlements all the way through the design and then onto construction. As well as a robust operations group that focuses on, as she mentions, tenant improvements, all the way through big complex projects, both in the public side and private sectors.
Thank you. Wendy? Well, you never want to follow Sabrina. That was amazing. You're amazing. So I'm Wendy Schweiger. I am the wife of NDL Group Construction. My husband founded NDL Group in 2003, so we just celebrated our 20-year anniversary. Like I said, we're a family-owned GC, but we do have an A and B unlimited license. We run 3 departments. We have ground up, we have design, build, tenant improvement, and we also have a service department. So, part of our success, I feel, has been we are about the whole relationship, not just one piece. Like Sabrina said, no job's too big, too small. We want everything in between. We focus mostly on private. We are commercial. We don't do residential, but we also have a small service department, so we can do self-performing of some trades, carpentry, welding, paint and carpet. We really feel like those self-performing pieces definitely help keep projects on time. Save budget. We're always encouraging people to bring the contractor in sooner than later, right? We're kind of like the big bad wolf of the room, but the sooner you bring us in, the easier your project will run. And like I said, we do design, build, tenant improvement. That's really our sweet spot. But we do focus on medical office, hospitality. We run the gamut. So just thanks for having us here.
Hello, Elena Otters. No, I'm on. Go ahead. All right, Elena Otter, Logic Commercial Real Estate. We're a brokerage firm with many little teams within. Some focus on office, industrial, retail, hospitality, land, investments. I sit on the Jason Otter Commercial Real Estate Group. That's my husband, and we specifically focus on retail, land, and investments. I also previously just left Carpenter Sellers Delgado Architects. It's an architecture firm. Worked with them for over 10 years doing their marketing and business development, and a GC prior to that. And I say that because I'm going to be sharing some of my responses based on my experience there. I think that would be relevant to what you guys are doing now.
Fantastic, thank you. And just to note too, we are going to open it up for questions at the end. So if you do have questions as we are going along, please write them down, and I believe Christy and her team will be coming around during the Q&A section. So, all right, next up, I'm going to start with Vincent. Let's start with you. What strategies do you believe are most effective for driving business growth in today's competitive landscape?
I think what I would say with that is that at our firm, we take a strong focus on strategic planning and really understanding where we believe our company sits in the market. We were just hearing from the guest speaker there talking about truth, and I think one of the hardest things that a business leader has to recognize is that you're not perfect, as much as we like to think that we are. And what you think that you have to offer may not necessarily be what your clients want. So I would say that one of the biggest things is really understanding and mapping out what your strengths are and being honest with yourself about your capabilities, identifying the target customers that you would like to do business with, and ask, is what they want what we have to offer? And if the answer is no, that's okay. Then you put together a plan and say, how do I end up providing what it is that my customers want? And therein lies the opportunity for success.
Perfect. And Sabrina, what about you?
I think it all starts with a good business development plan, right? You have to have a growth plan or strategy that encompasses, first off, your goal, right? What you're looking to achieve. Second, the people, not only the person that's going to be championing either the market growth or that business development sector, but the resources within your team that will also be supporting that person. Thirdly, you have to understand your product and or market that you're going to be representing very thoroughly. And then lastly, the tactics behind it, really creating the roadmap step by step of how you're going to achieve that goal. And that overall strategy should encompass both internal and external examination of what you're really looking to do. So the external is a little bit more obvious, right? It's the understanding and knowledge of not only the industry that you're looking to penetrate, but also the market demand. Thirdly, you have to know your industry peers. I call them industry peers. You guys might call them competitors, but their strengths and weaknesses, and then what differentiators you can bring to the table ultimately that would set you apart from those people. The internal aspect of it would be examining your depth, your resume within your team, what people have in their tool belts as past experience, making sure that they clearly understand your business development goal or strategy. When you bring your team up with you, they're more likely to support that effort. We internally use the phrase baby business development representatives, and that means everybody's responsible for the pipeline and the success of Martin Harris and their goals. So if you have a clear path forward that everybody's a part of, they're invested and they want to make sure that the company is succeeding.
That's fantastic. And Wendy?
Again, now I have to follow Sabrina. Thanks, Sabrina.
Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna make sure I'm switching it up.
Switch it up.
Just these first couple books, we'll go down the road.
Wonderful. So just to piggyback, I mean, I agree with everything they've said. I've always found too that sometimes the best strategy is no strategy, right? Like you have to think on your feet, you have to be able, I think sometimes the best laid plans go haywire. And when you're super, no, this is my plan, so sometimes I would say I'm running through life with one foot on fire. So sometimes it's like, yes, plan, the strategy, know your market, bring your people up with you. Yes, I agree. Everyone is responsible. My husband always says that everyone at NDL, even though, I'm the business development, everyone's responsible, for the sale. But I think my best advice on strategy is to be able to think on your feet and not always rely on, what you have written in your plan. Because like I said, the best laid, my mom used to say, man plans and God laughs, right? It's like the best laid plan can just go haywire real fast. So you need to be able to think on your feet.
Over at our team at Jason Otter Commercial Real Estate, we're a group of 5. So our strategy is really build relationships. It's so important to understand who your client is. Make sure that the entire team is the business development. There's not just one person. I think a lot of you, you're wearing many hats and you are doing business development and marketing and you're the owner. But everybody in your team should understand that be prepared with your marketing material, your collateral, your qualification packages. Just track your opportunities, know where those opportunities come from.
That's perfect. And I think that's a common theme that we've heard from all of our speakers today is about building those relationships. That really is going to be critical. So definitely keep that in mind. And then also sometimes the best strategy is no strategy. So thanks for that, Wendy. All right, next question I have, and I might just skip up to a couple of you here. So I'm going to go to Wendy. How do you approach identifying and pursuing new business opportunities? What's kind of your plan there?
So, like we've always said, like Jesse said, how you leave them feeling. We've all said relationships, and like you said, I feel that's the big echo here. But one piece that I've always relied on, it was a piece of advice I got when I first started. I've been in commercial real estate. I worked for a land developer. That's my background. Less construction. So when I got into more of the business development, somebody did tell me, we're all mining for clients in the same field, so to speak, right? We all attend the same NAIOPs, BOMA, IRM, NAWIC, all the things, and we're all NCA, and we're all kind of, hitting up the same people. But a strategy I've always used that I think is very successful to finding new clients is to develop other interests besides just what you do. Volunteer, get involved with a nonprofit, get involved, with other activities, and you will find clients there that need your help that another million other people that do the same thing you do are not in that room. And you'll bond over your mutual love of something that is not work related. And then they'll say, oh wait, you do that? I need that. And it's a much more organic way I've found to make those relationships where you're bonding over something you're passionate about that has nothing to do with what you do. And it sounds kind of weird, but I've always found it works really well.
How about you, Vincent? What do you think? What are some of your approaches to identifying and pursuing new business opportunities?
I think there's a couple of components to it. I mean, I would say from an external perspective, one of the things that we do is we empower all our employees to represent themselves as ambassadors of the company. In my industry, a lot of our business comes from word of mouth and referrals, and I can't be everywhere, nor should I be everywhere. And the people that are actually selling the brand are the ones that are performing the work. They're the ones that are demonstrating their capacity and their technical expertise and just being good human beings towards a common goal. That ends up translating into others sharing their stories as we help them build their visions, and they tell people, hey, if it wasn't for Grand Canyon Development Partners or the general contractor or the architect or whoever else is involved, we wouldn't be here. And then that gets circulated around the community of others that are inspired to do the same thing. From an internal perspective, again, it takes a rigorous approach of really understanding where we want to be. Where are you now? And where do you want to be when you grow up as a firm? And identifying the people that you want to be doing business with and having a plan towards how you're going to get in front of them, whether that's key introductions from others in the market that are already doing business with them, whether it's doing market research or attending certain conferences that you think that they may also be socializing in. It's really just a concerted effort towards putting yourself in the room for an opportunity to be created by being present in that situation.
Perfect. Don't worry, Christy, I'm watching time too, because I've got some really great questions here and I don't want to miss anybody. Sabrina, can you tell me maybe what are some of your out-of-the-box tips in regards to either business development or marketing that you want to share with the group?
So the way I approach it is people are people, regardless of your position or title in industry. If you approach people with that presence, you're more willing to take down people's barriers and build those trusted relationships. And so if you can go into it, I know I've been there in my career where you're in a room and you're new, your presence is new. Nobody knows you, nobody understands you, and you're like, man, I have imposter syndrome. Has anybody ever felt like that? Where they just don't belong, you don't fit in, and you gotta just build your way up and build those relationships. So if you go into it with the mindset that everybody's been in your shoes and people are people, and you talk to them just like you would talk to anybody else, they're more willing to trust you. And so if you can go into life in general with that approach, that's an out of the box strategy that I would suggest to you. Yeah.
Perfect. And then Elena, how about you? Any out of the box tips that you have for the group? Maybe something that's worked for you in the past?
Yeah, so for our team at Logic, we are very big on building those very intimate relationships with our top clients. And so we make sure we understand perform on a professional level, make sure that they understand we're the experts, we're there for them, we can carry them through, but then understand them on a personal level as well. That's really important. We take that to the next level. I believe we travel with our clients, we play pickleball every weekend, we celebrate birthdays and any other milestone we can. We can make an excuse for everything, any opportunity that we can to really connect with our clients, but just to be supportive.
Business phase in the business development process, and how do you overcome them? And I'm curious, maybe has there been any overlap or differences between MDL, what you do there, and with your nonprofit, or is it pretty similar?
So there's always challenges, right? And my husband always says construction is problematic, right? It's like if it went smoothly, none of us would love it, right? Like Sabrina says, give us the hairy jobs. In business development, like Sabrina said, we all have imposter syndrome. You show up in the room, nobody knows who you are, you feel intimidated, you look at the person next to you and you think they're smarter than me, they've done this longer than I have. But I agree with Sabrina on connecting on a personal level. And they always say, 7 no's to get a yes. So just keep talking, just keep going. I think that's the challenge, is not being defeated. Don't feel defeated, because we're a big community, but we're a big small town, right? Everybody really knows everybody. I learned that early when I was talking badly about someone and they said, that's my grandma. I'm like, oh, damn. So don't talk badly about somebody's grandmother. That's not a way to overcome your business. But yeah, I just say, challenges are that you're, at least being a general contractor, we're never the cheapest. we're never, we always, it's always the price. It's always, certain things I think we all face, being a GC, there's always 10 GCs in the room wherever I am. So you just need to find a way to uniquely stand out, be yourself. Like Sabrina said, people are people. So connect with everyone, be genuine, be authentic, and just don't take no for an answer. Don't be discouraged. Keep going. I mean, one time I had somebody say, give me your best 10-second elevator pitch. And I literally froze and I was so embarrassed. And then I went back the next week and I said, let me try that again. And, and we got some work out of it. So just, if there's anything I can implore on you, is just keep going. Don't be discouraged. You're going to have bad days and challenges come up, but, just keep on keeping on. It will pay off.
And how about you, Vincent? Any common challenges that you've maybe overcome recently? I know you've been with Grand Canyon for quite some time, maybe in either role.
Yeah, I think one of the things that maybe I can highlight that it may not be so obvious is just understanding the engagement cycle that it takes to convert a potential client. I can tell you in my world, it's not uncommon to go a year or more of interacting with potential clients before, particularly in large capital like investment projects where it takes a lot of time to raise the money. They may not have the land, they may not have the team.
Do tell if you want to speak about that.
I think we know a couple of projects together that we have where our folks are seeking money, but it's having that perseverance and knowing that it does matter, even that engagement that doesn't feel like it's going to turn into a sales opportunity today, it very well could turn into your phone ringing, 6 months from now. The other thing I would also say is just the commitment that business development should not be something that you turn on and turn off. It should be something that is a continual process. I'm guilty of it. I think we all are, that once you get to a place where you're comfortable, you can end up becoming rather complacent and working in the business instead of working on the business. And when that happens, ultimately time catches up with you. And when it's time for you where you need that new client or that new project opportunity, you may have missed the boat because you were too busy looking inward. So I would say in that is just, again, having a very conscious understanding of that, the reality of where you are and where you sit in that space, having great people around you that when you fall, they can pick you up and vice versa to keep you on track. And I found that to be successful.
You want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to build off of it. So as we know, we just entered into a new year. Who did end of year planning? Who's done strategic planning, gathered team, got everybody re-energized, have all these amazing goals. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we build all these strategies and point persons for that. And then all of a sudden, life happens, work gets, super busy, and some of those goals don't follow through. We double do on our resources. We commit somebody to this project. We commit somebody to this project. Then when the actual opportunity comes around, because it takes longer than, the thought, we don't have the team. Then we're stuck deciding what projects we're going to do and what client potentially that we're going to have to disappoint for one reason or another. So managing your book of business and your capacity, understanding internally, team-wise, what you got cooking, what's in your pipeline, right? Because only then can a business development person go out and truly represent the company. Because I can sell all day. You bring me outside, I can commit to anything. But if I go inside and I tell my team that I just committed to 3 or 4 projects and we don't have the people, they're not happy. So I would say that is a constant barrier or challenge doing business, is managing your pipeline and internal resources. So it happens, right? We're constantly working ourselves out of the business by building things on a regular basis. And so I would just say, make sure you're mindful all the time of not only your internal capacity, but your field capacity.
All right. Let's move forward to talk about branding. So I'm going to start with Elena, talking about building your personal brand versus your company brand. And is there a difference between either of those, and then how that ties into marketing versus business development?
So there's a very fine line between your company brand and your brand, but it's still very different. So you want to make sure that you understand your company's values, what their strategies are, what their goals are, and then align yourself with them. And then really truly understanding your client as well. I think that ties right into who your brand is and who your company's brand is. And as far as the business development and marketing, I believe that they go hand in hand, but marketing is an asset to business development, whereas business development is the pursuit and procurement of your work. Marketing will entail a lot of your brochures, publication packages, website, social media management, PR. So it's a lot of times teams will have, or companies will have different teams for both, but it's making sure that there's communication between both to make sure that branding is aligned and everybody's on the same boat moving forward.
Perfect. And then Sabrina, I'd like you to answer the same question about the branding.
Sure. So I truly believe that there's a personal brand that you expose to industry, and then there's your company brand. Your personal brand is essentially just you, right? The value and equity that you build interfacing with people in industry, whether it's through organizations, through professional experiences with consultants or general contractors, subcontractors, whoever you're dealing with, you establish a trusted foundational relationship that follows you and not the company. Whereas your company is very much developed by the people inside the foundation of in the walls of the building of the company. And it is built on reputation, and it supersedes its experience, right? So the company brand can only happen in time, right? And that is your ability to perform. So it's a walking brand. Every single job that you guys go and do every single time, your brand is built off that experience. Your personal brand it follows you. So people do business with people they like Wendy said earlier. And I'm a firm believer with that. Like if you were to leave your firm or something were to happen and you built a relationship, both on a professional side and a business side, they're going to follow you. They're going to support you and that goal. So that's my take on personal.
And I just want to really quick piggyback on what Sabrina just said. In my opinion, your personal brand and your company brand, though, have to align, right? Because if you're out there giving a certain kind of feel, and then they come back and they're not working with you anymore and they're working with your company, and your company's not giving them the same feel that you've given, then it doesn't work well in my experience. If you're out there selling, we can do this is how we'll treat you, this is what we'll say, and then I hand them off to my team and my team's like, wah, wah, then that's not working. Or it's certainly not gonna be good for repeat business. So I've seen that happen, so I would just encourage you to, if you're the business owner, if you're in management, if you're, however whatever you're doing, that you're taking how you're selling yourself and your company and ensuring that they are backing up that same message.
That's a great point. And actually, it's a great lead in to our next question, which is, Vincent, you've kind of already touched on this, so maybe you can expand on it. But so the question is, how do you ensure that your team and your brand are synergized? And you mentioned that you make sure that all your employees are basically ambassadors of your company. So maybe you can expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time talking to our employees. Just to kind of give you guys a sense, 83% of our company's cost basis is all people, right? We're consultants, and therefore I don't create widgets. I don't create anything that can be sold other than my people. And to the same point that you were just making in terms about the people being and reflecting the same brand that you're sending out there when you're doing business development, we took a lot of time to really understand everyone's individual why statement. And what I mean by that is, why do you truly do what you do, right? It's not the outcome. It's not to make money. Every one of you in here has a reason why you're doing what you're doing. And when we sat down and did that assessment with the employees and with key leaders in the company, we found commonality. And it was where that commonality overlapped is ultimately the company's brand. And that is a reflection of the people, right? Everything that they choose to do in the workplace ultimately aggregates to the greater benefit for the company as a whole. So that's how we keep it in synergy. The other thing is we talk about it often. And again, we're guilty. I've got one of my executives over here who I see this scowl as he's like looking at me. But, you know, we have to repeat this message often to everyone, including ourselves. It is very easy, again, to get complacent and to just ride along on the train. Even if you're running the show, you still can take that backseat kind of passenger role. And you have to get out in front of it and re-communicate why you're doing what you're doing to reinforce that to everyone and to empower them to truly believe that they are a part of this thing that's happening, that thing that's bigger than what all of us could do individually. So this is something that we constantly are aware of, and we put in, time-bound goals around making sure we're having these conversations with the employees through review processes and strategic planning and strategic updates for the company. And that's how we approach it.
I just wanted to piggyback all of that. I agree with. So besides hiring associates that inherently exhibit your core values, your company core values, you also have to look at your clients in the same perspective. You need to align yourself with clients that align with your company core values. When you have that synergy between your company culture and core values and your clients, everything goes smooth, right? And when you don't, you have to be swift at acknowledging that and make a decision on whether or not you want to continue working with that client. And we've done that in the past, but you have to do it swift to, minimize the bleeding, as you will. But it's very important that you protect the associates within the building that you are working with and making sure that you're not causing them pain and suffering. On business development, I say we are dating, right? And then they get in the door and they're in our pre-con and estimating teams, then they're engaged. But it's our operations team that's married and pregnant for 2 years sometime with these clients, and I don't want to set them up for failure or not having fun. Our motto internally is have fun and make money, and in that order too. So I think it's very important that you, just as much as your clients select you, select your clients.
That's a really, really great point too. And a lot of times, we're constantly thinking, okay, business development, what's the next job? What's the next project that's coming out? But honestly, a lot of times it's much smarter and safer to retain the clients that you have because it'll give you repeat business. So Wendy, maybe you can tell us a little bit, how do you develop loyalty among your current clients? What are some of your retention strategies?
I love them. I pay attention to them. No, I mean, it really is, like we've all said, we said it a million times, it is the relationship. It's like Jesse said, the way you leave them feeling. You just have to make those relationships. You give people a good product, you know what you're talking about, you're reliable. It's all the things that we all know, but I think I love what Vincent said about, sometimes we kind of rest on, we're comfortable, and so we don't keep those relationships going. Make sure you're touching the people, make sure you're going out, make sure you're creating that loyalty so that they want to come back to you. I always say be a resource, not a sales pitch, right? And, these relationships should not just be transactional. It should be, like Elena said, I want to go play pickleball with you though, but, be interested in what you're
really don't. She's very competitive.
Yeah, I really don't, considering I tripped in a hole and fell over there. I'm guessing athletics are not my bag, but no, it is important. As Sabrina said, people do business with people they like. And so, but like she said too, not all business is good business. I've spent a lot of time courting clients. It's just not a good fit. It's not a good fit for our company. It's not a good fit for me. It's not a good fit for our staff. And sometimes we just have to let those go. You don't have to get every single client that walks through the door. Pick and choose. It's your, yes, they choose us, but we choose them as well. I think my best thing in my nonprofit life and in my NDL life is just treat people well, treat people with respect, pay attention to what they're doing, read the room, right? Know who you're talking to. Always be authentic, but always read the room and know certain people, for those of you who know me, I have a pretty foul mouth and I can drop, some contractor language, but not always the time and place, right? And it's taken me a while to learn that, but yeah, I think that's what I'd say about that.
That's perfect. Elena, do you have any, besides pickleball, what's the other retention strategy that you got up your sleeve?
So I kind of touched on it before, but really truly understanding what your client wants, who they are, what's important to them, what's it gonna take for them to succeed, and what can you do to assist them. One by one, just go through every single one of those important clients, the ones that you're currently working with, because you don't want to lose them. It's so hard to find good clients, right?
Awesome. All right, get your questions ready because I've only got a couple more questions for the group, but we definitely want to make sure you have the time to ask your questions. So I'm going to actually just open this up to anybody that wants to take this one. What does business development look like in an uncertain economy, which I feel like we've been hearing that for the last 4 years, an uncertain economy or a recession is coming and all of these things. But what does business development look like in an uncertain economy, and how do you keep the wheel turning? So anyone who's to jump in.
You adapt, right? So your business model may be focused on specific markets, but understanding what's going on in the economy and working in the ecosystem that is our industry, excuse me. You need to establish a community autonomy and work with your community partners. So if all the municipalities are focused on a certain emerging markets, let's just say it's sports complexes, maybe we could figure out how that our company could support that, right? So picking and choosing some emerging markets that our industry and our region are focused on and building that community autonomy to support that effort. You have to be able, as a company, to pivot when the plan isn't going according to plan, all right? The plan should be flexible. It is a good benchmark to refer to your notes and make sure you're doing the fundamentals, maybe checklists or two, but you have to be flexible and encourage the environment internally within your company to allow that pivot to happen. People have to live in the uncomfortable sometimes. New is new. And be the industry expert. So I try to get in front of those emerging markets and really examine, maybe not just from a profitability standpoint, but from an exposure standpoint of market share. Like, is this going to be really good for my company? And how do we get in there? What is the differentiators our team could potentially be giving and providing? Is it saturated with other, I don't want to go and compete with 10 other contractors, for the same project. So finding the markets that are less saturated that you guys can ultimately excel in, and or fostering and inheriting another emerging market that your peers have not broached yet. And so that's my big thing, is diversify.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of piggyback, definitely diversify, but we have diversified in different ways with the companies I've been with. At the architecture firm, we made sure we kind of went on 50-50 public works versus private sector. And that way, when the private sector was drying up, we still had public works to look forward to, because government likes to feed the economy. So we definitely relied on that, and we would build those relationships ahead of time, knowing when there might be a downturn coming. And then when the private sector was doing well, we made sure we kept those relationships going so that they would continue to feed us. Also, right now, for instance, with there's a lot of debt coming due on projects, right? So a lot of our competitors aren't pursuing those truck reports, right? Those clients that have the loans coming due. We also like to make sure that we're kind of searching through various different opportunity portals. So we track CIP, capital improvement programs. We track the master plans that the cities and local entities are putting out. We make sure that we're going to the city council meetings or the Clark County Commissioner meetings and see what these developers are talking about. So kind of make sure you cover all your grounds and diversify that way as well. Get out the network, get the groups.
All right, last question. And we'll start with Vincent, we'll work our way down. Leave the group here today with one best practice or a key takeaway for them to enhance their own business development initiatives. So what's your one best practice that you want to instill in this group?
That's a tough one. I had the questions in advance, so I didn't realize this one. But no, in all seriousness, I would say from my perspective, again, I think it's just being honest with yourself. I can't reiterate it enough. I've owned other businesses in the past, and I know how I've treated them, and I know what's at stake now when you've got 30 some odd people who depend on you to make sure that their livelihoods are secure. And it's just recognizing that when you're slumping off or when you're not really on your game, it's okay, you're human, but also you need to pick yourself up and go out and do what you know you need to get done. It's surrounding yourself with like-minded people. It's coming to things like this to where you can kind of hopefully be inspired or re-inspired to say, you know what, I can do this and I do have what it takes. And I know we're talking about business development, but the other thing I would say is spending time to really understand the strengths of your team. You can't do anything without the support of others. And you'll be surprised that when you sit down and have real conversations with them about what they want and how that aligns with the business's needs, you can really make some important things and powerful things happen, which again ends up reflecting externally to the people that they engage with, that it's almost like they're passively doing business development for you because they show up, they're happy, and people say, wow, look how happy they are. It must be a great company to work with or to do business with. And last, I guess, pro tip that I would say is always be mindful of the fact that other people are watching you in terms of your firm, and talent shortage is a real thing for every single one in here. I know that for a fact. And when people are engaging with you, even on the other side of the table, i.e. as a client, you never know when that person may be looking to make a change, or they know someone that's looking to make a change and they say, hey, that company that I got a chance to have a great experience with, that might be a great place you may want to go work, which again kind of bolsters your ranks and creates that great team. So that's what I would say.
I think it all goes back to building trusted relationships, right? Building the equity with not only your internal team, but the people in the community, your clients that you work for. When you do that, they're more than likely to help you succeed in your goals. They're going to bring you business. They're going to refer your company. Your internal team is willing to support you and making sure that that project is successful. So it all goes back to building that trust, and not just on a business side, but on a personal side, like everybody's saying. I have established so many friendships throughout my career that started off just as industry acquaintance, and we're fully invested in each other's success, finding different ways to promote them and make sure that they get those opportunities, the stage, the light, and create environments if you don't have one, right? So I am a firm believer of women supporting women. So I didn't see a ton of that when I was growing up in the industry. And so I created environments that I wanted to see. I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see. And so I do a lot of things surrounding and supporting women. And so that may not be your thing, but if there is a thing that you have, I would say create that environment. Thank you.
So one takeaway that, I think we all look at, and Sabrina touched on earlier, is looking at our, look around the room, is instead of competition, look at these people you can collaborate with. I think a lot of times we look at, other contractors or other people in the same field, and you say, I gotta get ahead of them, which, right, you do, right? You want that business, but you never know when you're friendly with someone who is your competitor, a deal might not work for them, but it might work for you, right? You want to be able to refer to people you like. So looking at people in the industry, I always say as more of a collaboration over a competition just has worked well for me. Like I said, it might not be a good deal for our company, or we might not be able to do it, but Sabrina can, right? So I always look at that as collaboration over competition. And then somebody much smarter than me told me one time, be brief, be brilliant, be gone, right? So a lot of times in our, we just want to use all our words all at once. again, read the room. Some people just want to hear what you have to say, know that you know your stuff, and then get out of there and leave them wanting more. They'll come back, they'll find you, they'll want to engage with you. So those are my takeaways.
I think my biggest takeaway in business development is don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. There are so many people within our industry that are so willing to help out. It's a really small town, and everybody I found is so excited to make sure they uplift everyone around them. So ask for help. There is no dumb question. And then I have another thing that I'd like to do is out of any networking event I go to, I will reach out to 1 or 2 people and just have a coffee meeting with them, lunch meeting, constantly continue to meet with these people, because one person will lead you to another, you never know, and you help each other out. You're there to help them and vice versa. So just really put yourself out there.
That's fantastic. Thank you all. Appreciate it so much. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, this is your chance. You have some expert panelists up here. Questions from the audience?
Hi. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Thank you for all of your knowledge. What I wanted to ask was, how do you train others to do what's best for your company? Obviously, Wendy, and with your personal construction company, with your husband, Vincent, as with your business, how does one go about training others to look at the business the same way that we do? Doing what's best for the business and our image.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, and it's one that we ask ourselves a lot, quite often. I think to answer it directly is creating an environment where people can understand that you're being vulnerable about what the company's goals and objectives are. And I think most importantly is having them understand that their role plays a major impact no matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter if they're the front desk receptionist or if it's your VP, everybody plays a part into that overall corporate goal. And helping them understand that gives them a sense of responsibility and accountability towards how their part, no matter how small it may appear, how important it is to ultimately achieving the company's goals.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And just real quick, being is that we're the owner, right? And for those of you who are the owner, and this is where, I'm an older person and I come from less of the feel good and less of the rah, right? Like, you have a job to do. We set that example of how we want it to look, being that we're the owner. It's your company. You have the right to say, this is what we expect. This, and again, this is my opinion. And also the people you hire, labor shortage is tough, right, for everyone. But the people you hire have to kind of already be on the same thought process. You cannot tell somebody, how to act, how to behave. To a certain degree, they have to feel it. And if they're not organically on the same page as you and representing that person, in my opinion, is just not going to be a fit. You can tell someone 1,000,000 times, this is how we do it, but if they're not feeling it, it's just not going to work. So I think it's important to know, in my opinion, when you're the owner of the company, it's your culture, it's your thoughts. This is how we do it. There's always room for encouragement and wiggle room and making people feel valued, absolutely. But I just think, to your question of how do you train people to come along with your thoughts, some of them just are not your people.
I just wanted to add, we do a lot of internal trainings in our building. We've established a calendar year of programs that are not just functional based on their current position, but also provides them exposures to outside consultants that can come in and explain different aspects of commercial real estate. So I would say, depending, scalable for you and what you're trying to achieve, assign ambassadors that would be responsible for the training that you want them to ultimately own and make sure it's implemented, and put procedures together that is unitized for them to follow. And then that ambassador is there in the background to help answer questions, make sure that the team's prepared for success, and also opens the door for the vulnerable conversations to, if they're not getting it, come to you and ask more questions and or more training.
All right, I think we have time for one more question. One more question. Okay, we'll do Kristen first and then we'll get.
In a 6-month, 2-year, 3-year project in construction, how do you keep track of your customer satisfaction? You know, because you've got the field, and the field has a vested interest in making it look okay, right? And it probably is wonderful, but man, in the office as an owner, how do you know it is really going okay? And then the other real quick thing, those of you that started the company, what is in year 1 to 5? What is the biggest thing you remember about going wrong or figuring out?
So to answer your first question, these are really good questions, by the way. To answer your first question about the client kind of satisfaction, again, it is very easy, again, to spend all your time on the BD and on the sales side to create a sales engagement, put your team on it, and then walk away and go do it again, right? And you never really touch base back to find out how things are going. You just have to make a conscious commitment that you're going to pick up the phone and call the client and say, how are things going? And you better be prepared to get real candid feedback, because again, if you lie to yourself and you try to put your head in the sand and pretend that everything is okay, you may find out in the wrong fashion that it's not. So it's calling and creating a genuine conversation opportunity with the client to say, how are we doing? I sold you something. Are we doing what we sold you, right? And if they say no, back to Sabrina and one of the comments about the team, you have to be prepared to have conversations with your team about whether or not the expectations of the company are being met, and working with them to ultimately help them be successful to meet those, or be willing to make a change if it's not. Very good question, though. In terms of the, you asked what was the thing that we remember the most?
Yeah, we're closing in at the end of year 5 of our company. And I can tell you what, makes me on my knees, or, makes you, so worried about, but I hope in year 20, I look back and say, thank God we got through that, or whatever. So you guys looking at where you are, what do you remember as the biggest hurdle of these early years, maybe?
I'll answer that, and I'll be vulnerable. I don't even know you guys, but I'll tell you this. I worked at the company that I ended up acquiring last year for 10 years, 9 years, and then I've owned it now for a year. And there was a lot of imposter kind of syndrome mentality of, even though I worked with these individuals as coworkers, that, could I really do it? Like, once it was announced that I owned the company, would people leave? Would they want to follow me, right? These are things that we have these internal battles with ourselves all the time, right? So I would say, now that it's been almost the first year anniversary, I don't feel like an imposter. I feel like those that would have not bought in would have left by now. So I have the obligation to continue to do what I sold to them when we announced that I had acquired the company. But I would say that's probably the most memorable thing for me.
Back to the client management from start to finish. 80% of our business is repeat clients, so we had to develop a system to manage that, right? So we call it the zipper model, and it is very much what it says. It's a zipper, and we assign points of contact, internal points of contact, to manage a level, right? And so our president is talking to this president. It doesn't always go that way, but I'm saying all the way down, so there's no holes, all the way to their, and then on the other side, we have a list, an understanding of their internal makeup, and we assign people to reach out and create and maintain those relationships. That way, if somebody leaves, somebody retires, something happens, if that you lose that one contact, you always have the ability to move up and down, right? And so it's that person's responsibility to manage that relationship regardless of the phase of the project in your building, right? And we meet annually. We're about to meet next week, and we talk through where we're at. Is the zipper model current? Have people left? Do we need to change it? And it's a lot of maintenance. People don't understand. People think business development is drinking, playing golf. I mean, and there is some of that, but there's so much strategy behind it. There's a lot of work, and there's a lot of maintenance on the back end of it that people don't really get and understand. So
And I'll just add that we actually have surveys created for our projects throughout, and we utilize those both to make sure we're managing the project well, but testimonials and just marketing material really, get a lot of good feedback from those.
All right, last question.
I'll be quick. Good afternoon. For a small business, say 5 people or less, what would you recommend? I mean, assuming that this business, especially consulting design services, they can't really or don't have the resources to bring in someone to work on business development uniquely. Are there external tools or resources that you could recommend for those small firms to market themselves and generate more business?
Social media is your friend.
Okay, LinkedIn.
I would just say, I mean, take advantage of the platforms that are available for you to get as much outreach as possible. I know a big part of this is talking about the DBE and SBE certification. I get several emails and announcements of different job opportunities that have popped up. Engine is another great platform for things. Different social networking organizations like NCA and AOP and some of these other ones. You'd be surprised if you focus your time, again, in understanding where you want to make moves and dedicate that limited amount of time that you have, because as a small business owner, you're probably doing everything in the business as well. But for the little bit of the time that you do have to get out there and put yourself in a new space, at least is focused towards the type of people that you want to be doing business with. So that would be my advice.
And I would just say, like I said before, I would encourage you to reach out to your, not necessarily competitors, but people that you do business with already. Piggyback on if they're going to do an event, piggyback on, just collaborate. Don't be afraid to collaborate with other people that may have some more resources than you do. And then you're going to get your biggest bang for your buck on those people sharing your message and those people giving you testimonials. And, so 5 people, small and mighty, and, just like Vincent said, just know where you want to be. Don't waste your time in rooms that are not having, suited to what you need or what you can handle at this point. And when you find those groups, then I would encourage you to network with like-minded companies and then piggyback on possibly what they're already doing to get some ideas and leverage some, power there where you don't have to do it all by yourself.
In our business, we can create referral programs, and so we really work off of that. Our team is just 5 people, but just create ambassadors and then offer those referrals if we can.
Perfect. Rebecca, we're gonna have one, we're waiting. Aisha has one last question,
Okay.
and we're gonna move to our next panel.
Okay.
All right, Tanisha.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all coming out and thank you for that great information. I do have a question because as a smaller contractor, and as we're growing, my concern is for business development, and you kind of mentioned it before, if those relationships are built and they're built with other people on my team, if they do leave, that those type of clients will go with them. So what's your response to that?
Well, I would say from a small GC, and this is my husband, who's the founder, he's always somewhat involved. He's always got a presence. We just lost one of our people. He called the client and said, "I'm leaving, come with me." And the client said, "No, my relationship is with NDL Group. It's not with you. You're great. Best of luck." But because my husband, myself, we give that personal touch, we're able to do that because we are still smaller. That's just, from that kind of sizing standpoint, we stay involved so that when we do lose somebody, it's not a catastrophic, everybody goes with them. They like our team collectively, not just that one person.
I have some advice for you that maybe not everybody thinks of all the time. One of the things that we do, and again, I'm going through a range of options. Ideally, you want it to be where you're having constant conversations with your clients and that trust is started at the ownership level and then is kind of pushed down at the execution level. However, I will say that our contracts, we have non-solicitation language in our contracts that specifically states that if a client chooses to part ways, that they cannot solicit or hire one of our employees for up to 1 year. And we have financial penalties associated with that. We've only had it happen in the 18 years of the business has been ongoing. We've only had it happen once where we had to have a conversation about it. So ideally, when you're dealing with good quality clients, that type of thing, they respect it. They likely wouldn't want it to happen to them. Because what comes around can go around. So it's just a tool for you that you could potentially look at the non-solicitation language in your contract as well.
And I will add that I've actually seen it on both the client contracts and employee contracts as well, so.
So let's give it another round of